XReal Air 2 Pro AR glasses. I purchased them as a secondary screen because my neck is getting progressively worse, making it more difficult for me to keep my head still or look down at a smartphone screen. As you can see, they've done their best to make them look like normal sunglasses. Do they? From the front, absolutely, they could pass. From the sides, they're a little bit thicker because they have to accommodate the OLED Sony 1080p screens that reflect onto the projected lenses that you can see just inside the frames of the glasses. Now there's speakers that work quite well to give you an immersive feeling while you're watching different videos, YouTube, or playing a video game. Very, very nice. Works a bit better if you put something over your ears, like over-the-ear headphones. Believe it or not, the volume and sound quality is much, much different. As you can see on the front inside there's a proximity sensor, so they shut off when you take them off. That is a really nice feature to have. They plug in by USB-C, either directly to your smartphone, to the beam, or to the HDMI adapter. They do have control of brightness and volume, as well as chromatic dimming. Now this is the beam device. Full functionality cannot really be achieved with these glasses without this device. You can see the glasses plug in on the left and your device plugs in on the right. You also charge it that way. There's a vent on the bottom. The silver bar is actually your power button, and there are different buttons all over it. The blue one for volume, the orange one is a select button to bring up your modes for how you're viewing. The beam is definitely something I'd consider buying, and if you are going to buy the glasses, just realize that you do lose a lot of functionality if you just go with the glasses, and you will not get to be able to use it with devices like, say, the Nintendo Switch or PlayStation 5, or you might be able to use it with your laptop beaming through the USB-C port. I'm not actually sure. I haven't tried that right to the glasses. I have done it through the beam unit, and it does work just fine. So that is an option. So beam, good thing to have. Essential. Don't forget that, because a lot of the things for this, or each additional accessory, is something that it turns out, if you want to do that extra thing that you maybe weren't intending on doing from the start, you need it. I bought the glasses with the beam and ended up getting the HDMI adapter because I couldn't play PlayStation 5 on the glasses or have that full HDMI experience from any device that shoots out HDMI. So I recommend getting all of the attachments, and I do believe that they should be included with the glasses. They are not fully functional without them, and you really want something like this to be fully functional. Now, to the credit of XReal, all the processing power is in these units. You don't have much in the glasses, and that is an important thing to note. These glasses weigh 75 grams, and they look reasonably like sunglasses, so you do have to really be prepared to make purchasing each of the accessories, and that's something we'll get into further on in the video. But as you can see, I'm using my phone, and when you do use it directly from your phone, when you have it in portrait mode, that's what you're seeing in front of you. When you have it in landscape mode, that's the same thing. It'll switch to landscape. You cannot change the location or size of the screen. That's what the beam allows you to do. So quite useful, and it could be something that'd be great for traveling and whatnot, just to be able to use it to view media on your phone, maybe enjoy things a little bit more, make the time pass a little bit more quickly. But if you're really going to use this as something, say, a necessity, like I plan on, it's something that really makes it a little bit more cumbersome. If you're able to have wirelessly transmit it to your phone through the beam, that combined with the smooth follow feature, it's completely different using it that way. So at the end of the day, gonna keep saying it, you gotta buy the accessories, and that does bring it up in price by quite a bit. let's say the beam, I believe, was 119 Canadian. The HDMI adapter was 49.99 American, which by the time I got it to my house ended up being $91 with duty and shipping. So this was not cheap. They These glasses cost the better part of $1,000 Canadian. You won't quite make it to $1,000, but it's very close, just above 900. So you got to consider that. For full functionality of these glasses, that's where they're at for the price point. Now, I do think and recommend people consider getting the non-pro version of these. They just don't have the electrochromatic dimming, which I find to be an excellent feature if you're using it in a bunch of different cases, a bunch of different use scenarios. So for me, I think it's essential. You can see over on the speaker there next to me, I do have the covers that come with it. Just below where the glasses where your cheeks are, you will get a reflection if you have a bright day, or the surroundings are bright. So you just have to be aware of that and consider that. So on a bright sunny day, I was walking with these glasses on, just watching a YouTube video, turned down the tint so I could see through the video, and you can actually turn the brightness of the video down, and it's a very good balance between being able to see what you're doing and still getting to absorb the video and the contents of it. The one thing I did notice is I could see the sidewalk clear as day when I just glanced down because of the reflection on the glasses. So just something you want to be aware of. I mean, I don't expect a lot of people to be walking around, but I was doing the dishes with these glasses on. I've cleaned the garage, organized tools, cleaned up a carb, just different things that don't require a lot of mental capacity, but still allow you to, absorb some information. I think mechanics and other people who do different types of work might find it very useful where they're cleaning parts or doing some different things, maybe watching a YouTube video just to make sure there isn't something they've missed from the public and other mechanics who've posted about a common problem. So you can see I've switched to the beam. And as I explained before, the functionality when you're using the beam is quite superior. You are getting a display glasses, just buying the glasses, and I think you'll be reasonably happy with them. It's just the ability to actually hook them up to different things that makes, life a bit easier. You can see right there, I'm just showing how to beam your YouTube videos to the beam. So you can see my phone's sitting on the speaker there. I've got the vents free. You can't stick it in your pocket, remember? No, can't stick it in that pocket either. Know what you're thinking. But you can stick it in a custom-made case that I came up with. See, if you don't have that thing is going to sit in your pocket, and maybe if you're Canadian and it's cold out, that might be a good thing because boy, does it get hot. Hand warmer. Now, this case allows you to stick it on the outside of your pocket, let's say along your waistband. You could even put it outside of your back pocket or your belt. You could also wear it around your neck. The idea is to allow you to have a portable experience without destroying the electronics that you're trying to keep safe. You spent a lot of money on these things, right? If you're looking at them, I highly recommend finding someone with a 3D printer and getting that case printed out. If you have a 3D printer, print it out yourself. And if you can't find one, hit me up in the comments and I might be nice enough to fire the file out for you. I know these things cost you a lot and I really want you to enjoy them as much as possible and not have wasted your money and accidentally break the beam or overheat it, or even the reduced life of it. So you can see you can get in various positions. I'm really impressed with the way they are actually very comfortable. The temples on the glasses, which are the piece that goes around your ear, are very flexible rubber, so they do fit almost any head. I would say I have smaller than normal ears and bigger than normal nose. And what that results in is I had to use one of the different nose pieces. I'm just putting on the the blockers there that block underneath, and I kind of just showed. And I haven't used those much at all. I will tell you right now, I find it much better to be able to actually see through the glasses, no matter what you're doing. Now right here, I'm going to get into trying to use the Nintendo Switch Lite. And spoiler alert, it does not work with the Lite. The Lite does not output you display to its USB-C at the bottom. But luckily, you can see up on the speaker there, I have the normal Nintendo Switch. And it does output to the glasses. And I'm going to tell you right now, Mario Kart is one of the funnest games to play on these glasses. Hands down. It's so immersive. Having a nice big screen in front of you, you don't even notice the minor things that people talk about, the blurriness around the edges of the screen, which can have a lot to do with your brightness settings. But I might talk about that a bit more in the video. You can see it's fairly easy to set up. You just basically plug it in. The Switch knows it's plugged into something HDMI, and it actually takes, a couple seconds for it to come on the screen. And I did notice that the odd time there was a bit more of a delay, or I had to try and do it a second time. I think in this particular instance, that might have been the case. But once you get playing, yeah, you can see, there you go. I'm shaking my head because it did not work the first time. Plugged it in. And I'll probably give a thumbs up, I think, when it does actually work. And we're just, yeah. So there you go. You can see. I got it working, and it didn't take that much effort. Just know that it's not seamless. Every once in a while, you do have to hook it up again. And don't get frustrated about it. Just try again. Don't play with the connections. I know people have a tendency to wiggle them back and forth. That's not the problem. You're going to hurt your cables or the unit itself. Like I said, playing Mario Kart on it, really my favorite way of playing it. I don't actually play video games that much because of not being able to sit in one position for very long or hold my head in one position for very long. But this has allowed me to enjoy a few games in the kind of shape that I wouldn't normally even consider playing. So that's neat. I think that's going to open some doors for me. I've never been a serious gamer. Not that I don't enjoy the games. It's just difficult for me to actually enjoy them when they're causing me pain. So this is great. You can see I'm kind of starting to move around and getting comfortable from just doing the video. That's pretty normal for me. Right on par. So yeah, one thing I noticed about those speakers on the arms of the glasses is that if you put a pair of over-the-ear headphones on over top of them, the sound gets quite a lot louder and it's quite a lot better. So although it is maybe something that is a bit superfluous, I highly recommend trying it if you're gaming or watching a movie or something and you're not going to be lying down or bumping your head against them anyway. It's really comfortable. It doesn't hurt your ears having the temples of the glasses underneath the foam pads of the earphones or headphones. It's just an awesome experience. I've really enjoyed it. So I play through one race of Mario Kart here just to kind of show how it works. Mostly how it hooks up and the different positions you can get in while playing. So I might cut this Mario Kart video short and show you about the PlayStation because it's not much different, and then we can go on to my final thoughts. We're just going to set up the PlayStation here, and this isn't going to take very long. I just wanted to quickly show you the HDMI adapter. And that's one thing I had to purchase to be able to use the PlayStation 5. I also highly recommend it if you just want a more versatile unit. Basically anything with an HDMI connector, your laptop, that sort of thing, you can plug it right in. It provides a really nice experience and actually just lets you do those things. It's a little bit disappointing that you do have to spend $49.99 on that, plus shipping and importing fees if you're from Canada, which amounted to $91 Canadian. The glasses themselves with the beam was about $867 Canadian. So it gets really expensive when you're getting everything one piece at a time. I really don't think, as I said before, that these should be accessories. They are vital to the basic functionality of these glasses, and I really do think that the company should just sell it as a package. The price of these being what it is, it's put it out of reach for a lot of people who I feel could use it and essentially need it. And just the fact of bringing prices down and having more people buy it and producing more units brings the price of producing them down, etc. I think once these become more popular, that's actually what's going to happen. I highly recommend, if the people at XReal are watching, that they increase the battery life of the beam and the HDMI adapter. They both have about 2 hours a piece of battery life. You can see I'm using them in tandem there, daisy chained together, which means that if either one of them isn't full on battery, I won't even get the full 2 hours. I highly recommend that they combine those units and give it about a 4-hour battery life. At the end of the day, that's a half a work day, and if you allow for some breaks and whatnot, that's more than enough battery life to get you through, to be able to charge at lunch, or if you're traveling somewhere to charge, or simply, deal with not having the ability to use it for some of your trip. At the end of the day, it is just not enough, as I said, to have 2 hours worth of use, especially if you were going to be using it, going, say, doing something and then coming back to use it again. It's just going to be frustrating when the battery dies. In one sitting may be enough, but that's about it. One thing I also wanted to mention that you might notice in the video that I was shaking my head. I believe I had to connect twice, and that was the case with the Nintendo Switch too. So there is a little bit of finickiness to connecting sometimes, but I've never had to try more than a couple times, and I think it might just be a matter of some firmware updates and whatnot. It's very likely that that could be the case. So yeah, I really thought that these helped me quite a bit. I didn't know, given my situation, if these would be a good option, but it turns out they are an excellent option. Everybody's going to have that idea where you have to balance price versus necessity versus novelty, and unfortunately I do think it falls out of range for a lot of people, and I look forward to, maybe when more units are being sold and it's a little bit more refined, it'll sell for a bit cheaper, and the people who can really use it, if you're in the hospital or you just don't have much mobility, this gives you a huge screen in front of you. It does seem like it's 300 inches big, and you can adjust the size of it as well as move your head around while using it, as you can see. Like, there's nothing like that. It's the ultimate in comfort, and honestly, the immersiveness with regards to a movie or gaming is really second to none. It brings the theater to you where I can't actually go to a theater and enjoy it. I've maybe been to about 3 or 4 movies in the last 25 years. So that really tells you and shows you how much of a game changer these glasses can be. I watch movies doing the dishes, cleaning carbs, organizing tools in the workshop. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a very useful tool to have around and extend your ability to do some things. For me, CAD, a little bit of video editing, and even just some entertainment, gaming and whatnot, stuff that I haven't been able to do in the past. So I really appreciate that you've watched this video so far. I'm going to have a few thoughts to tie this up while I show you using my laptop, but at the end of the day, I really just wanted to express from my point of view, A, not being sponsored, and B, being someone who bought it for a medical related reason. I think there's a lot of people with various disabilities who could benefit from these, and I really appreciate that XReal has come up with them, regardless of who they designed them for. Awesome product. There's a few things we'll talk about while you're watching me use the laptop, but other than that, to give you some final thoughts while I was hooking the laptop up and just sort of bring you up to speed on everything that I feel. Maybe some of the cons. There's a really interesting effect when you're looking at text on a computer screen, and it kind of makes some of the text seem somewhat blurry, but it's more of like a shadow effect blurry. So I wrote to XReal about it, and they actually call it bird bathing. And that's a really great way of describing what you're looking at. It's not in any way um, a hindrance to you reading the words, reading the text. It's and it's really focused around situations where your text is against a highly contrasted background, like white on light gray, white on black, black on white. That like just think of different highly contrasting texts, and basically what it is your brightness might be a bit too high. I noticed when you turn the brightness down, that really helps it quite a lot. And if you look at a street light or different lights at night, you'll notice the glow around them. And that is a very good example of a background where it's dark and light and it's having that effect. So the edges of the screen also have a similar effect. So when I'm using a laptop, I actually reduce the size of the screen by just a bit so I can use smooth follow. I don't lose the edges of the screen when I'm moving my head. And it does give you a much crisper look at the image. So when I got these, I had extremely high expectations because nobody really talked about the different things that might be small negatives. And I attribute that to sponsored reviews. They don't really want to bring up those, nitty gritty details that are kind of nitpicky. I think they're the ones that you have to be prepared for. If you temper your expectations to this isn't the perfect solution yet, you're going to be a lot happier with them when you get them and understand those limitations. Like you're getting light in the sides of the glasses. You have to get used to that. It's not something that takes away from the experience of using them in any way. There's also the issue of over prolonged use. I did have the tops of my ears start to hurt a little bit. I also like to have the glasses very snug on my face. So there's one thing I did to solve two of those problems, and that was just buy a strap for the back of the glasses. The one I bought isn't all that nice, so I didn't show it in the video. I want to get more of a sports neoprene type strap, and rather than fit around the back of my head, I'm going to put it just above where you would put a normal strap to sort of lift the glasses off my ears a bit. And that's really, it doesn't even have to lift them off my ears, just relieve a bit of the strain. So yeah, there's not much I would say there are negative things about these glasses. The fact that there are so many accessories and the battery life is a little bit low, those are things that they could easily upgrade and update over time, that you'll be able to just buy that new option. You can keep them charged in the meantime, and I really do think that XReal is going to take notice of, criticisms that will actually make their product better and more appealing and usable to a broader audience. So I gotta say, I really appreciate the fact that if you have stayed to the end of this video that you have. It was really interesting for me to do this review. It was something that I wanted to do. I feel that it's really important that when you get a good product and you like it, that you tell people about it. I also think it's really important that people get an honest take of the value of something like this. Is it worth the money? I'm going to give you my honest take. If these weren't partially a gift from a family member, I wouldn't have them. I wouldn't have been able to afford them on my own. So I really appreciate. Thanks, Dad. Because I wouldn't have them otherwise, and they have made a big difference in my life. So that's one thing I would say XReal could maybe do to really help so many people out is to reevaluate sort of how they're selling it, the price, or even have a really good sale coming up soon just to get this in the hands of people who instead of see it as a luxury or a superfluous item that is just fun to use, a novelty. This is a necessity for a good portion of the population, whether they be people with neck problems that are still working and could be disabled, or people who are already disabled and can use the escape. As someone with post-traumatic stress disorder, I feel these are an excellent thing to bring you out of the constant thoughts and activity in your head. It's really nice to just immerse yourself in something a little bit more deeply than you would normally. And that's what these glasses allow you to do in that situation. So speaking from a normal person standpoint, which I have been in the past, man, it would be cool to take a flight if I could and use these glasses. But that's not in the cards for me. For people who travel, these are awesome. But for people like me who can't get out of the house as much as others, these are also awesome. So just consider that. If you are thinking, if you're on the fence, and you have a disability and you're thinking maybe these will help, they're 75 grams. You're going to be okay with that weight on your face, and they're very comfortable. You can use them lying down on a pillow. You can use them sitting. You've seen in the video all kinds of different usage scenarios. So they're a versatile product. I would sell them as a package. I would sell them for cheaper, and you'd see them in almost, a lot more homes. I was going to say almost every home because they're so neat, but at the end of the day, they are a novelty, right? So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for my dad for buying them, and thanks to XReal for designing such a cool product. Really happy with it. Still not sure if I'm going to keep them because I spend other people's money kind of like I spend my own. But at the end of the day, I kind of really appreciate it. It's helped me a lot, and it's been wonderful. So thanks for watching. Have a great day, guys.